Good afternoon. You'll see there's got two people here so far, so it's just a couple of minutes before 4, so we'll wait around a couple of minutes just see if anybody else turns up. Down to 1 already. That's not it's not looking too promising, is it? Oh, it's just doubled back to 2. So say good afternoon to both of you. See who else joins us in a few minutes, and then we'll make a start. So hopefully the audio's working okay. Everyone can hear me, and you should just be seeing the website just there at the moment on screen. Feel free to say hi or just say where you're from or whatever in the chat, or ask questions as we go along. Oh, picking up a few numbers now. Got 5. Welcome to those who've just joined. 6. That's looking good. We're just going to give it a couple more minutes. In fact, it's only just coming up to 4 now. Give everybody a chance to join us. Got quite a lot to pack in for an hour. Obviously, stay as long as you want to and you're interested. I'm going to limit it to an hour. I know everybody's busy, and certainly in the UK, it's sort of coming up to the end of a working day. People like to leave work if you're watching from work. I've got an itinerary. Got a few things to go through today. I'm going to try and mix it up a little bit. So there's a mixture of sort of information, news, giveaways, and then the sort of latter half of the YouTube live will be a couple of tutorials. Hopefully they'll be of use. So we're up to 9. I'll just give it 1 more minute, just see who else joins. Oh, brilliant! Thank you for that. Audio's perfect, fantastic. I think this is only my, is it third, 4th max of doing these, so it's still a little bit new to me, especially the streaming software and whatever running on the PC. So it's always good to see a confirmation that it's working with regards to your end. Right, I think we'll make a start. Say it's 1 minute past 4. Quite a bit to get through. Really appreciate everybody who's come along and joined us for this. Let me give you the itinerary first. Sorry, you'll hear a bit of rust in the paper. That's my notes here. Right, so we've got a lot to pack in. First of all, I'm going to just take you very quickly through the new courses. Now, some of you might have seen those on the website and had a look and see, but I just want to explain what those are about, why they've come about, and what they're going to consist of. From there will be some freebies. I always try to do that on a YouTube live session, so they come in the form of a coupon code with a limited number of uses. So more on that in a minute, but totally free with no obligation. You just got to get in there very quickly. I'll explain what they are and how they're used before I actually give the code to make it fair for everyone just to go and take advantage of those. Then there's some general discount codes, again to limited number, but I like to try and make a special offer for the, make it more of an event of these YouTube live sessions. Then some general news, and we've got some news about the website. We've got news about what I call the old website, which is now at the .co.uk, because that's finishing soon. Oh, that's Maliki, brilliant, thank you. So I've got to remember I'm looking at the notes, I'm looking up at my main screen, what you're seeing. I'm looking down here at the chat box, so how can I share? I don't know if anyone else can advise. Do you mean share this stream or share the video? I'm not sure. Probably if anyone's more proficient with YouTube Live, if you can help out with that question. So a bit of news generally. We've got some exciting things to announce some overseas visits to do with BIM and Revit and whatever, but that'll come up. And then finally, I'm going to do 2 fairly shortish tutorials. Hopefully they'll be of interest, one on parts and one on assemblies. So let's start off with the new courses. So if I just go just very quickly, and if any of you have already enrolled for these, thank you very much. If not, you may be of interest. Just wait until you've seen the discount offers today. Now, I had this before. This is just because I think I haven't got a brilliant internet connection here, to be honest, where I am. It's quite a rural location. So what I find is there is a lag in me using the website, and it's because the streaming is taking up so much of the bandwidth. So I'm just at the BIMscape website, go to courses, and here we go. Right. Let's start with this one. I'll be very quick through this because you may have already seen this, but these are 3 new courses. Now these are all coming out. They're starting in a week or 2, and they're all going to be complete before Christmas. With all my courses, if you're familiar with them, there's no set dates that they have to be taken on. Once they're out, they're yours for the membership period. You can go and look at each unit as many times as you want. You can ask questions in the forums. I've just seen there, it's come up on screen for you guys. So this one, in fact, 2 of these courses have been on my, if you like, back burner on my mind for a long time now. The 3rd course is fairly minor compared to these, but this one and the next one I'm going to show you are quite major courses, which I've been planning to do for a while. I've just been psyching myself up and getting brave enough to tackle them. So this first one is about collaboration and coordination. So up until now, for the last few years, all the material I've produced is really for people learning Revit and using the base skills themselves, almost like standalone. But obviously, you know, because the 2 sort of go hand in hand. There's some crossover, but I've also linked it into almost like 2 separate sections. So in this course, we're going to cover the old, what they call the work sharing, is just called collaboration now, which is a central model, and everything that goes with that, setting it up, managing it, editing requests, work sets, which can often be confusing to a lot of people. And then there's coordination. Now, coordination can be to do with the interference checking. You can see there at the bottom, I've called it interference checking. It's not clash detection. So you may have looked into this in the full version of Revit. There is a basic interference checker which just basically determines whether any elements in Revit are clashing with any others. It hasn't got all the bells and whistles that Navisworks got, but it does a basic job. Also, there's another way of collaborating, particularly for the LT users, which is linked models. So if you're working with an external consultant, you can bring in a model, and there are a number of tools built into Revit for working with that, sort of the copy monitor, the batch copy, etc. So we'll go through all that in this course. I have put, I think at the top here, I've suggested it's not suitable for Revit LT users. Yes, they could get, you can do the linked model, but you wouldn't have all the work sharing. So I might just sort of adapt that with a caveat, or maybe do like a subset course, sort of half the price, which just does the linked models. So just to be clear, that one's really for people who are going to work in not standalone, but in part of a team, and need to know how all the tools in Revit work to do so. So that's the collaboration one. The other major one is the site and topography. So everything, it's going to open in a second once this lag takes off. So everything that I've covered really to date in my tutorials has been to do with the building, and obviously that's still predominantly the most important part of why Revit's used, but buildings sit in an environment, in a context, so it just seems sensible at this point in time to show you how to use. Now I'll be diplomatic here. Revit's quite limited tools for providing the context, the site. As I say to people, it's predominantly a building creator, a building modeler. So the site tools are quite limited, but I think you can still do everything that you need to do to put your building in a context. So there's the itinerary there, show you different ways of making your 3D surfaces, either manually from a file or from a points file, then working with the surfaces, how to control what you see, how those surfaces are displayed, how to then add different elements to them, be it the building pads, site components, etc. And then some additional topics at the end there, what to do with phases, cut and fill. That's quite an important practical one. You know, you've spent some time building these surfaces. What can you do with them in terms of information? So quite excited about that one. And the other one, which is quite a more focused one along the lines of sort of the title block courses and things like that, where it's a very specific topic, but again really quite important I think in Revit, is this whole issue of rooms. Now it was difficult to know exactly what to call it without getting the title too long-winded, so I put room schedules and data sheets. So everything to do with actual Revit room elements and what typically you might want to include in a room data sheet, how to pull all that together. So it'll be doing sort of standard rooms, building up the client's brief before you've even started modeling. So that's the way I've worked before, and it's quite useful. I think many of you will recognize that scenario. You go to the client, you know, he wants a new office or wants a new school or whatever. Quite often you start with a list of rooms before you've even started laying it out on the site. Well, you can actually do that in Revit. So it's almost sort of back to front. Rather than you placing the rooms in and then producing a schedule, you can produce a schedule of what the requirements are, and then you can place the rooms in the model from that, which is quite, I think, a slick and useful way of working. So I'll take you through that as well. So that's that course. The other one, which has been out a week or two now, which some of you may be on, don't know where I'll put it now. It's this one here, the practice project. Now this is already started, but not to say you're welcome to join it at any point. You would so you haven't missed anything. You would have access to all the units. This came about, and again, this is one I've thought about for quite a few years actually, and I've been asked about many times, is can we have a course which goes from start to finish and builds a complete concepts. And I've tried to put them in order of workflow, but they are distinct things like walls and doors, levels, etc. What was missing in that was a way of tying it all together so you could actually build on something and see it right through to completion. Well, that's what this practice project course is. So we start literally with no file at all. We introduce sort of templates, then we put the levels in, we create new types for walls, floors, then we put the external shell in, put the roof on, etc., and go right through. So that includes a bit of everything, but in a more practical format. So that's really, I'm enjoying that one myself, because it's different from the format of the other courses. Right, that's probably enough about the new courses. Right, let's see what we've got next on the agenda. I'm just conscious it's nearly past already. Right, the time for the freebies. Sorry, you may have seen we're getting out more YouTube videos as well, so I'm got a mixture of short, quick tips. So if you haven't seen any of those lately, I'm posting them on the front of the website as well. So either you go to YouTube and watch them, but I'm trying to make it easy for people just to go to one place, i.e. the website, and on the front page they'll see new videos. So just trying to give a mixture of free material as well as obviously the paid stuff. But what I'm offering today in terms of a freebie is 3 of the 1-hour support sessions. So let me just go back to the shop and just show you that quickly. Sit here and catch my breath while this loads. And I know some of you, maybe not necessarily that you guys here watching right now live, but some of you have taken up this before. Now, just jog my memory here. The practice project that I showed you, if you are interested in that, that does come with one of these included, a 1 hour live support. Now, the idea of that was that if you get stuck or you've got something that deviates a little bit away from the project we're doing, we can have a chat about that online. So in that practice project, you actually get one of these included in the price. So the freebie for today is I have set up a voucher or coupon code for one of these 1 hour virtual meetings. Now, I'm quite free what you want to use that on, what you want to discuss, whether it's any part of the courses you're doing with me, whether it's just general, you've got a problem with Revit or a particular project, or you're wondering how to sort of advance your learning, anything to do with Revit really. It's your 1 hour. So I have set up a coupon. I'm going to give you the coupon in a second. All I would ask, please, before I give you the coupon, can you not book it for next week? Please start the week after. It's all right with everything going on the website and a few things outside of the BIMscape. It's very, very hectic at the moment. So although, now that should flick. It's just going to open. Just show you how this works. Basically, you can book the day and the time yourself. Here we go. Come on, open up. There we go. Be much quicker when you guys do it. So basically, it's just like any of these online booking systems. There's a calendar there. You can flick to the next month. It shows you available days. So Fridays are always blocked out for me, so that's why they don't appear there. You pick a day, and then up will come available slots. Now, it probably does show availability. Well, it does here for this week and next week. All I would ask, please, if you're lucky enough to sort of, or you want to take advantage of this coupon I give you in a second. There's 3 of them, so each person, 3 of you can actually, if you get in there quickly, can use that and book a slot. Please start from the 29th. I think you can go up to 3 months ahead. So don't take this wrong. The more in the future you book it, the better for me. It gives me a chance to get on top of other stuff. But I just thought it was a way of giving back a little bit, and it's nice to always have a live discussion, albeit over the internet, with other people interested in BIM and Revit. And if I can help you with anything that you're stuck with or you need a bit of help, that'd be great. So for that, the coupon code is, now it's YouTube 1 hour, with the 1 being just the numeral 1. So YouTube and then the numeral 1 and then hour, all as one long series of characters, no spaces. Chosen your date and your time, and you press book now. When you go to the checkout, it'll say if you've got a coupon code, and you enter YouTube 1, the numeral 1 hour, all together with no spaces. It should, if it's working properly, reduce that cost down to 0, and it will allow you to book it. And I will say that this booking system, which I really like, it's a plugin I put on the website, it allows you, once you've created it, to reschedule it. So if you get 2 or 3 days away from when it's due and something's come up, you've got a more important meeting or an appointment somewhere, you can just log into your account in BIMscape at the website, and you can hit the reschedule button, and this will come up another sort of calendar with a time, and you can just reschedule it. And the great thing for me is it's all automatic. It syncs to my Google Calendar. It comes straight through his emails confirming who's booked it, when it is, and even if it's rescheduled or cancelled. So hopefully that's of interest to you guys. Say there's 3, the voucher can be used 3 times before it expires. So hopefully 3 of you will get in there. But please not next week if you can help it. Okay. Right. Now, I showed you the new courses. Now, the next thing I'm going to give you, it's not completely freebie, but it's an offer relating to this. is a general coupon code. Now this again, this coupon code I'm going to give you now can be used 10 times. Can be used 10 times, so a total of 10 times, and it covers everything in your basket. So if any of those courses that you've seen today you like the look of, you can put one or more in your basket, put it all in, whatever you want, then go to the checkout and use this coupon code, and what it will do, it will reduce the cost by 60%. So, but it can only be used 10 times. So the coupon code for that, in fact, now what I'm going to do, I will give you that in a little while, only because it'll be, you'll be sort of rushing around at the shop and sort of missing the rest of the YouTube live, which we're now a third of the way through. So I won't forget, I'll give you that at the end, but it's again, you have to be quick with that one. It's only can only be used. Right, I think I'm doing quite well for time. Might even be able to finish a little bit quicker than the hour. So the news, right? I feel like a proper newsreader now. Some of you may have had an email if you were members at the old site, the original site, which is now sits at bimscape.co.uk. That is closing on the 26th of November, which is a week on Friday. That's closing completely. Please make sure you migrate over to the new site. If you've got products on there that you've bought already, you've paid for, then just make sure you contact you. You can go to bimscape.com/migrate and fill in a little form there, and basically I set you up on the new site, and bring your products across. We basically register them for free on the new site. So anything you bought at the old one, that gets replicated. That basically the old site will go offline completely a week on Friday. So get in there quick. Please migrate those purchases. If you miss that deadline in migration in terms of letting me know, I can probably do something about it after, but really only then if you've got your original orders or something like that, because at that point, once it's offline, I won't be able to get into the database for the old site, which I've been having to do manually. It's been quite time consuming, but it was the pledge I'd made was to, if you'd bought at the old site, you could have an account at new site and we would recreate it, but it's all been really done manually. But say after a week on Friday, that becomes quite a lot more problematic, because I don't have a database to go in and check your old account to confirm or see what you've actually purchased. So that's that. Black Friday, again next week on Friday. Just watch out for something maybe a little bit different next week. Keep an eye on those the emails. If you haven't subscribed to the BIMscape newsletter, it's quite simply bimscape.com/newsletter. Has the little box there to put your email address in. That's that. Where are we? Software. I'll just mention this. I was just notes I scribbled down. You may have seen it on the shop. I'm not an official sort of reseller, but I'm an official affiliate partner with Autodesk. So if you or anybody you know is looking to actually purchase licenses of not just Revit but any other Autodesk software, and it covers virtually all of their portfolio of products, even though I've obviously got a small selection on the store, then I can probably do something for you in terms of some benefits of going through the affiliate link. What I would ask, if that's of interest to you, just drop me a line on the contact form. Let me know what your... oh, sorry, I was glancing down. Henrik. Oh, Henrik's here. My friend Henrik. You forgot. Oh, my word. Well, you're here now. You haven't missed much. So software, yeah, if there's anything that you're interested in, say it's an official affiliate deal with Autodesk. It goes back through, if you click the links on those products, it goes back to their site. but they are affiliate links, so I do get something out of it. But what I do is I share that with you. So, but in order to do so, I need to know sort of what you're interested in, how many sort of licenses we're talking about. So, probably fair to say not the most popular part of the website of the business yet, but again, it's there if people want to take advantage. If you can get something, if you're going to purchase anyway, I could probably offer you something which you wouldn't get if you just went straight to Autodesk. Right, that's really good timing that Henrik's turned up, because the next thing I'm going to mention is something I'm very, very excited about. Is next March I am travelling to Denmark from the UK, and I've been invited to do a one-day workshop in Denmark on Revit. Really excited about that at a university there. Now, at this time of this YouTube live, or whenever you're watching this retrospectively, the details are quite limited on it, but they are, I'm assured, coming out very soon. And so it's going to be a one-day live workshop on the 20th next year, and prior to that, Jan-Feb time, we've got 3 webinars. Now, I believe they will be open to the members of the public as well, outside of Denmark, where we're going to basically go into Revit families in detail over the course of 3 separate webinars. But when I've got details on all that, which I've been assured they're coming out very soon, I will post those in the newsletter and I'll put them on the website. So stay tuned if you're possibly interested in that. Looking down my list, yeah, I'm starting soon. I'm going to be putting more general BIM news on the front of the website as well. So not just links to the YouTube videos and things like that, just more industry news, BIM protocols. Now, it's going to be a little bit tricky. Obviously, appreciate, depending on where you are in the world, you'll have different sort of standards and things to follow. But what I want to do is just start to widen the scope of the coverage now, particularly the news and the blogs, away or not just focused on Revit, but more BIM generally. So I'd like it to be that, you come to the website maybe once every other day and you check for new news, and there's things just generally about the world of BIM, how maybe different companies are adopting or using BIM. That might include Revit, it might be other software titles, but just making it more of a general BIM site that also happens to focus on Revit as the training. So watch out for that. I think that is it in terms of the news. I should have started by saying those new courses I mentioned, those are the last new ones for this year. So basically, by Christmas, all those courses will be complete, all the material, and that will be it. There's plenty more coming next year, but what I'm going to do, I've got my thoughts on what I want to look at next potentially, but I will probably maybe into the new year, or certainly at the end of this year, is get out a survey and ask people what their priorities are, what they'd like to learn about. Because it's one thing me thinking what I'd like to produce or what I think you might be interested in, but it's a different matter what you are actually interested in and what's going to be of benefit to you. So I say I've got a number of ideas off the top of my head. I'm trying to think what I jotted down now. Obvious candidates like things like that, maybe structures. I don't know, if I'm really honest, how much of a demand there'll be for structural engineering in Revit. I know it's a useful and popular, obviously, in that discipline, but how many people, structural engineers, come to the site to make that viable? But I can only ask and then see what comes back in the survey. But certainly I would have thought rendering, possibly basic animation, stuff that you can do to improve presentation of the output of Revit, I think would be quite a popular course. So I'll get some feedback on that. Okay, that's all the news, which I'm looking. That's just by coincidence. It wasn't by. It was just luck more than anything. That takes us halfway through, which brings us to the tutorials. So I'm just going to minimize that and bring up Revit. So I'm gonna. These will be quite quick, and I thought what I will do is probably re-record these as standalone YouTube videos, probably in the either tutorial or quick tips playlist shortly, i.e. sort of sometime this week, just to make them more accessible and to tidy them up a little bit. But the first one's going to be on parts, and then the second one is going to be on assemblies. So apologies if you already are fully conversant with this. It's difficult to know what to do to pitch it at the right level, but I'm never going to pick something that everybody is wanting to see and is new to. But there we go. So let's go to architecture. Wall. The chat's very quiet today. I don't know if that's, well, I suppose it's you're either concentrating really well, or you've gone to sleep, or you're not there, or but it makes it a little bit easier for me because I'm not missing anything there. So I'm just going to place a piece of wall down. So most of you will be familiar, I hope, with basic Revit walls. System families made up of layers, and normally you don't have access in terms of 3D geometry really to the layers, apart from if you unlock individual ones top and bottom, which I did a very I think it was my last YouTube video on. So if you need to catch that out about how to actually unlock individual layers and extend them or pull them back, there's a quick tips video on that. But what parts allows you to do is, with multi-layer or composite assemblies, if you like, in Revit, like a wall here made up of different layers, you can actually access the individual layers themselves as separate pieces of geometry. You can divide them, you can take bits away, you can add them back in, you can change their shape and their extents. So what we'll do in a second is we'll convert this into parts, and we'll start peeling away some of these layers. So we get a nice sort of 3D cutaway, which you could include in like a room data sheet. Maybe you could tag the individual layers to explain to a contractor what a wall's made up of. So if we select the wall in question, now the button on there on the modify panel is create parts. You need to hit that. This converts it into parts there. Tells us we've got 4 parts to the wall. Now if I just go back to the view itself, now there is a property in the view called parts visibility. Now you've got a choice here of show parts, show the original, or show both. Now this is really crucial because if it's on the wrong one, you won't be able to edit. Well, you won't be able to see the parts, but you won't be able to edit them either. So if you go back to show original, see that behaves just like a normal wall. So if you select it, you're selecting the whole wall itself. So if I change that back to show parts, notice now it's showing us, even at the end of the wall there, the individual layers. So if you click, you can actually select a part now. Now what you can do, let's just think of the best way to show you this. I'll do the cutaway in a second. I'll just show you the division of the parts, because it may be, let's think of a scenario that this is a cladding panel and you want to divide that into parts. Now when you divide it, you are literally dividing those and forming separate geometry, and as such you can then schedule those and tag those separately. So if you had like a long elevation and you wanted to divide it into parts for sort of wall panels, cladding systems, you could do that. Now there's a different debate I won't go into there, whether that's the best way to do it or whether you'd be best using a curtain walling system, which I'd be inclined to do really, but I'd rather just give you the scenarios and then you can sort of explore that into the best for you. But this divide parts goes into like sketch mode, and you can then draw lines over it and it'll cut it up. Now, like most operations of that nature, you're probably best not doing it in a 3D view. So let's go to north elevation there. Now, remember, you've got to, that one's left on there, I think, from before when I was looking at it. Just make sure that is on show parts when you switch to your elevation, else you'll be sort of getting frustrated why you can't select. Oh, sorry, I'm just going to listen hard. All right, who just started utilize this part of Revit to become. Oh, right, that's good. Looking forward to learning more about them. The brother scope on BIMscape. Yes, to answer Henrik's question, yeah, to a certain extent. So that's why that's coming. Right, okay. The main obvious one is Navisworks. I'm sorry, I'm just looking down this chat box and trying to cover these as we go along. I'll try not to get too sidelined. Again, what I will have to do next year, once I've got some ideas for these sort of broader courses, I will put them out for like consultation or feedback and just see what the demand is. You can probably imagine, I'm interested in quite a lot of things to do with BIM and Revit, but whether that's viable in terms of spending a long time making and producing courses as a business is a different matter. It's like Dynamo. Dynamo is very interesting. It can do some very powerful things. I'm not convinced that many people would utilize it or want to get into it. I think it's possibly a niche area. If you've got any thoughts now, guys, I know it's a very small sample size here, but that could be something we look at. Dynamo, how we build scripting languages to work directly with the model. An interesting topic for me, but say whether it's viable or not, I don't know yet without Navisworks on my to do. Oh right, okay, great. I think Navisworks could be quite popular. Certainly, I mean, the architects to a certain extent, BIM managers, contractors. Whether I can draw that audience, the right audience for that sort of course, it's quite exciting, and it'll be nice to do something a little bit different from Revit. Not that I'm bored with it, but just to show people, if nothing else, that BIM, as I'm sure you guys know, is far more than just Revit. Although there are a lot of people that just say that they're doing BIM because they've got Revit. That's a different debate. We won't go down there. Anyway, back to this tutorial before I get too sidetracked. So I've selected the part. Hit divide parts. That goes into sketch mode. You're used to seeing that with the green tick and the red cross. Now you can do some fancy things, intersecting references. You can actually use, if you've got like levels that go across, you can use those to cut it. I'm going to actually manually do this here. The familiar draw palette, you've seen that. Oh, yeah, sorry, I'm just remembering to glance down. Yeah, Dynamo, yeah, very powerful. Oh, sorry, I should say, just before I forget, I didn't even have this on my little list. One of the courses I'm almost certainly going to do probably towards the start of the new year. I think, again, I'll get some consultation to see if it's of much interest, is the conceptual design environment. Yeah. It is BIMscape rather than Revitscape. Yeah, here's a little. I'll keep this short, guys, but here's a little anecdote. You mentioned that. Some of you, I don't know if any of you came across it, and it's still, I think it's still up there now, is the Revit Zone website. Now, I started that in, was it 2007? So if you go to revitzone.com, please don't laugh at the formatting, the presentation. It's really, there were very few sites or blogs about Revit. My interest started in it about 2003-04. So by 2007, I had a couple of years of using it. Really enjoyed it. Really found it useful. Based on the old Joomla CMS, which is the word like website software. So it did the job. So there wasn't many sites offering anything like that. I don't think YouTube was even around then for video. So everything was typed out with screenshots and annotated. But yeah, now why I mention that is that because it was called Revit Zone. I think it was a few years, about 2008-9. Everybody who had a blog, no, it weren't vlogs, they were just blogs, a website, anything that had the word Revit in it, we all got contacted with a nice letter. I think it was a letter or an email from Autodesk, from the legal team, asking us to remove our domain names, to change them, to take them down. Hi from India. Thank you. If you've just joined, you might have to watch it when this goes out as a recording. We've covered quite a bit, but welcome. Autodesk had this real issue with suddenly this, if you like, craze of everybody registering domain names with the word Revit in and saying it was trademarked and we should take it down immediately. But I don't know if any of you were around at that point and remember, because the BIM, now was it Revit Forum? That was revitforum.org was around, and obviously that had a massive following, and they got told to take that down, and there was such a backlash to Autodesk. Basically everybody just said, look, we're trying to help you here, we're promoting the product, no one's trying to put people off, we're all actually helping each other, we're helping other people to learn your software to make it more popular. So this is not in your interest. And interestingly, Autodesk, hi from Kansas in the US, yeah. I would say the biggest followers for the website generally is the US. Just trying to think of my Google Analytics stats. US biggest, I think, followed by the UK, then Australia, not far behind or about equal to the UK, and then everywhere. I think India's up there quite high, and then like split amongst everywhere else all over Europe and the rest of the world. So obviously home of Autodesk in the US. So yeah, Autodesk realised that actually it was they were getting free marketing, so they let it slide. But after that experience, this goes right back to Henry's point there about the name BIMscape. After that experience, when I formed the company in 2016, I thought, just to be on the safe side, no way am I registering a company name or a domain name with the word Revit in it. Nothing that's trademarked already. And I went on to trademark BIMscape for what it's worth, just to cover myself, because I was obviously taking it more serious as a business then. So, sorry, I've rattled on and deviated a bit there. I'm Malachi. We've had a few emails today. Thanks for the basics of Revit. Oh, brilliant! You're very welcome. Very welcome. Yeah, the for anybody. I mean, some of you obviously I recognise on here have bought courses, and that's fantastic. Anybody else who wants to get into Revit, if either they can't or don't want to spend any money at this point, please just point them to the website, which has I think it's Start Here, and it's a free course. And there's a full list there. I know it's on YouTube, but what I've done is put them in like a matrix with hyperlinks. So at least you've got one page you can work your way down, click it, and it'll open the respective videos. So I'd appreciate that if you point people in that direction. Dynamo says, yeah, Dynamo's a very special thing. It's how can I put it? If you don't know why you need to be using Dynamo, you probably don't need to be using a specialist tool. It's not something you'd find useful, I wouldn't think. But anyway, I will sort of cover that in the survey and just see if there's any interest. Right, conscious. Right, we're down. I haven't even covered assemblies yet. That's me doing my normal side tracking. That's the difference when it's live, isn't it? When it's all these pre-recorded videos that you guys watch when I do them, I can just cut out the bits where I'm waffling and then shorten them down, but can't do that with this. Right, so draw palette. Basically, you just hack the thing up how you want with these lines. Doesn't matter that they go across. These are Yeah, best plan, Henrik. Keep well away from it. Probably more productive things at the moment to be getting on with. Hit the green tick. Notice how that covers that up there. Hit the green tick again, and it's probably easier now. We switch back to 3D. So we've still got our parts, but now we've got more parts because we divided that outer layer. So I just cut that at an angle, but you obviously you could put it into set panels or modules if you want to. Now it gets a little bit more useful than that. You can now pick a part, and you've got on the menu here exclude parts. So that will take a piece away. It's still there if you like. If you hover over it, you'll see the ghosted outline of it. So if you do need to bring it back, you just select it and then restore parts, and it'll bring it back. So you could do that to take a piece out or to show what's behind it. But I would suggest there's an even more slicker way than doing that, which I'm going to do now, is if we select that next part down. Now, with that part selected, if you see the properties for it, about halfway down there is a property there called Show Shape Handles. Turn that on. You'll get the shape handles for that part that you selected, and now you can change its shape. So if we do that with that one, restore that back. Let's get that next one. Show shape handles. So again, let's so you get the idea. Now, to me, that would be quite a useful little drawing. We could obviously put a crop region around it. You can tag these. So I don't know if you guys have ever done any or much tagging in 3D. The only thing you have to do is lock it first. Just do that save orientation and lock view. You can then tag it, so you could have little call outs here if you like, or tags telling you what each of the materials is. The reason you have to lock it is because the tag itself is like a 2D annotation. So top here, you don't really know in reality where that's pointing in 3D space. It could be like, you know, out in front here. So if you lock the orientation of the view so it can't be orbited, then you can start tagging the pieces. So that's a very quick look at parts. There's not, you can schedule them, tag them separately, etc. So what I'm going to do, I said I would cover the assemblies as well. I'm just going to get rid of that. Okay, it's just warning me the parts are gone with the overall piece. So let's have a very basic example, but just to show you what this is about. Now, assemblies are almost the sort of absolute opposite of parts. Whereas parts break down something into individual or smaller subcomponents, assemblies allow you to put individual components together to form a bigger piece. Now, you can do groups, but what assemblies allow you to do is it behaves like a uniformed object then, and you can actually choose what category it goes on. So if we take, for example, let me quickly go to that 3D. So we've got, for whatever reason, it's probably not the best example. It's just a column and a piece of wall. But it just for speed, the principle and the concept's exactly the same. But probably a better scenario, let's say you had a column and it had a couple of fixing lugs or something that you created on the side of it, and that came as a standard off-the-shelf part in reality. You could make an assembly out of that so that you can put it around your model and you can schedule it. So it's basically 2 or more Revit elements that you want to put into if you like, a more efficient and powerful sort of group. So if you select the constituent parts, we've got a button there, Create Assembly. Now, it'll come up with a name. That's put 03 because I was playing around with this before. We just put 01 as a start one. You know Revit behaves with numbering it and naming things. It remembers the sequence and then continues it next time you do that. Now, if the constituent parts are on different categories, so obviously walls and columns, you get a choice here. Which category do you want this final assembly to be associated with? I'll leave it on. Well, let's put it on walls. It doesn't make a lot of difference. You put your own name in there if you want to. Hit OK. Now, notice then that once you've got an assembly, at least one assembly in your project, it forms a group down at the bottom of the project browser, so you can quickly get access to your different assemblies. You can now add these, you can copy them around. It's a bit like arrays, but the powerful thing is, if you've got, let's say, 5 of these in a row in your building, and one of them has to have a column lower down or shorter or longer or whatever, slightly different than the rest of them, you can edit the assembly, change it, and when you resave it, hit the green tick again, it will know that it's different, and it will create like another version with its own unique name, which will populate down there. So you've almost like got different types, variations listed. Let me just keep up with the comments. Use parts throughout being able to keynote. Yeah, that's a very typical use of parts. Yeah, it's really quite useful. Obviously, walls is an obvious one. Floors, anything that's, you know, ceilings, even anything that's made up of composite layers, you can use that on. So there is our assembly. So we can edit it, disassemble it. Now, the other really useful thing, I think, particularly if we've had that sort of case I described where you've got, let's say, a sort of structural member with certain lugs or things sticking out of it, where you want to communicate that maybe to a steelwork fabricator exactly what that is. You want elevations of this, you want a plan view, you want 3Ds. What Revit can do is automatically create all those key views from that assembly. All you need to do is select it, hit create views. You get this panel that comes up. You can tick or untick which of the views you want or don't want. So most of them are ticked there. So it shows you what you're going to get: a 3D, a plan, so a complete, almost like mini document set for this particular object. Set your scale. View templates. This is where it gets really slick. So you might have, you know, if you're producing these things on a regular basis, you might have a view template in your office template to define how these type of views are presented. That could all be like not hardwired in, but you know what I mean, sort of pre-configured into there. So you've got less work to do each time you actually go and create the views. Hit OK. And then nested under the assembly down in that group on the project browser, you get all those separate views. And obviously you can embellish those with dimensions and tags and whatever. So say a full, almost, well, it is like a little document set, isn't it, just for that assembly. So just if it's like a sort of component that you'd want someone to make that's going to be part of your building design, I would suggest that is an absolute ideal candidate for using that assembly tool. Right, that's coming up very quickly to 5 o'clock. I was going to say 4 o'clock then. We started at 4. So what I'm going to finish on is, I think I mentioned to you the codes. Let me just go back to my bit of paper I scribbled on. So I've turned my phone off on my iPad at the moment, so I don't know if anyone's booked anything yet because it won't ping until I turn it back on. But remember, if you want just a bit of help with a project or some of the training or anything to do with Revit, there was those 3 one-hour sessions, and the code, they may have all gone now, I don't know, but you're welcome to interest to you. I'll probably try and get another one of these YouTube lives in before Christmas. Hopefully they're useful. I quite enjoyed this one, as in I had some scribbled notes and had some sort of format. So I say we'll keep the same format as in a bit of everything news, some freebies and whatever, and some tutorials. So if there's anything you'd like covered in one of these that might be useful, please just send some ideas. Use the contact form on the website, or some of you just got the email address anyway. And stay tuned for more sort of, or starting with general BIM industry news on the website, and also the details of the webinars and the live workshop in Denmark next year. I don't know realistically if that's something that many of you will be able to get to, depending on where you are and whatever, but I'm certainly very excited about that. A lot of planning to take place and organisation to get ready. I'm sure March will be much quicker than I would like, really, in that, because of some details, guys, and I really appreciate everybody taking their time out. I hope the time suits everybody. I'm just conscious you're all over the world in different time zones, and trying to get something that suits everybody is going to probably be impossible, but this works well for me, so I'll probably keep it around the same time. So thank you so much for tuning in and giving me some of your time. Hope that was of interest, all the different things we've covered. Take care of yourselves and look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.